documentary, though. This is the worst. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for showing up tonight. Thank you for always being so supportive of the content that we create, showing up for us as a company and a community. I am deeply appreciative. And in return, I wanted to use the next 30 minutes to add some value back to you. My intention is to add the most value in the time that we have here together. So 30 minutes they gave me, and I thought, is there a way that we could take a deeper dive? Is there a way that I could teach you some more tactical things that you would learn if you actually went to the entire conference or if you were part of our monthly coaching program? So this is actually one of the keynotes that I give at Rise. You probably heard little parts of it in the documentary itself, but it's my idea of what are the foundations of success? I think it's well and good to talk about goal setting and dreaming big and chasing these things in your life. But honestly, none of that really matters if you don't have the foundations to set you up to achieve those goals. Does that make sense? So I wanted to teach you guys what I've learned over the last 15 years of being an entrepreneur, being a working mom, being a wife. Doesn't matter if I'm chasing a professional goal or a personal goal. This is what helped me become who I am. These foundations. 5 things. So get out your notebook or get out your phone. This is the time to take notes. Let's dig in. Did I spell those correctly? David, can you come spell check this whiteboard for me? S-U-C-C-E-S-S. That's the way we spell success, right? You know, I got knocked out of the spelling bee in 3rd grade because I couldn't spell lettuce. I think it's environment. I spelled it let us. I mean, I know how to achieve a goal, y'all, but I cannot be an English teacher. So we all have our gifts, okay? Physical environment means literally the environment in which you physically live. I know so many people who are trying to chase down a goal or a dream in their life for themselves, and their house is thrashed. Their car is a mess. Their room is covered in clothing and laundry. And I know that there is a certain amount of shame that's wrapped up for people when their personal environment isn't orderly or organized. I know that it is the symptom of a greater problem. But dude, if you want more for your life, that starts at home. If you want more for your life, it looks like, is my desk, is my car, is my bedroom, is my house set up in a way that will best support that? That doesn't mean that you have fancy things. That doesn't mean that you have a lot of money. Like, it doesn't cost money to have a clean house. You better put on some music and clean your house up. I say that on stage because it's real. There are so many people who are trying to achieve something, but they wake up in the morning and look around their house or look around their room and they're already set up for failure. How are you going to get to the next level? How are you going to achieve the things that you want to achieve if every single morning of your life you wake up and see evidence that you're not taking care of yourself? You know, everyone talks about like, oh, are you in shape? Are you doing this? Do you have the right friends? But yes, but what's going on at home? What's happening? And I know that not all of you, even like some of you live with roommates, some of you are still at home with your parents. What does your room look like? When I was a little girl, I didn't even have my own room. I had a bed. My bed, was my bed clean? Was my bed orderly? I can start here with this one thing. If you're struggling to make headway, if you're struggling to stay motivated, I would ask you to take a look at your physical environment. What are things that you can do that will actually make you feel like you're more capable of taking on the world? Years ago, I read an article in a magazine that said, what are your 3 favorite things that make you feel like you're at home? And mine at the time was candles, books, and cozy blankets. And they were like, great, now you know those 3 things. Now make sure that in your environment, you've got the things that make you feel at home. What I would say to you is, what are the things that make you feel energized? Maybe it's your favorite motivational quotes. Maybe it's images of people who inspire you. Maybe it's music. Maybe it's having things in a certain order or having your sneaker set out so that you remember, like, oh yeah, I want to go run tomorrow. Like, set your house up, not just your mind, not just your body, but set your environment up in a way that sets you up for success. The second thing is the most important. Probably should have done it right at the top, but I wanted to ease you guys in. If you have hung out with me at all on social media, you've heard me talk about this a ton. Your personal environment, meaning your body, your physical health, is the number one most important thing to set yourself up for success, to be anything, to be a mama, to be a wife, to be a husband, to be a CEO, to be an entrepreneur, to chase your goals, to do the half marathon, to write the book. The number one most important thing is your body and your health. The problem is that so many of us have managed to make it this far without needing to get that in check. In fact, many of us have achieved a lot of our goals and a lot of our dreams by physically abusing our bodies, not taking care of our health. This was a really long road for me. This was a long journey to get from, 50 pounds overweight, eating fast food every single day, no physical activity, getting winded when I would walk upstairs, my body hurting, my back hurting. I know that talking about health, I know that talking about physicality and the way that I know that it's deeply triggering for a lot of people. But I also know that it's a conversation we need to be having. Listen to me. Being in exceptional health is not about the way you look. Being in incredible health is not about how much you weigh or what size you are. Being in incredible health is how you feel. How do you feel? Do you feel good? Is your back hurting? Are you having to take pain pills or ibuprofen? Are you stressed out all the time? Are you anxious? Are you fighting depression? How do you feel? Do you feel great? Awesome, man, you are doing it. But if you're not, if you're struggling to find the energy, if you're struggling to find the motivation, if you're struggling to find the will, I want to tell you that's where we've got to start. It's incredible to go chase big, audacious dreams for yourself. Y'all know I am one of the biggest dreamers out there. But I would not be where I am if I hadn't gotten healthy physically first. We talk about, if you did last 90 days with us, we talk about 5 to Thrive. I go into a lot of detail about this topic in the new book. But the idea is, what are those things that you can do every single day that will be your touchstone, that will be the place that you always come back to? Are you drinking enough water? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you taking time for gratitude? Are you taking time for self-care? Are you eating foods that make you feel vibrant and alive? Or are you eating stuff that makes you feel better in that moment, but 20 minutes later, your body, like you physically feel heavier and it feels harder? And if you do that, right? I still do that. I still struggle with this, having a hard week or having a hard day with the kids, or something went wrong. And I'm like, man, I know if I eat this pizza, I know if I have this thing, that if I eat Doritos, it's going to taste so good in that moment, I'm going to feel good. And then 20 minutes later, I'm going to physically feel ill, because that wasn't the best choice for my health. So I just want you to ask yourself, that's a deeper dive, and that's something we got to talk about. That happens in coaching. That's like a deeper dive into this subject. But for you guys today, I have enough time to just ask this question. How do you feel? Is your health great? Is it on the road to getting better? Or is that something you struggle with? The book that I'm writing next is about health. It's about how we're taking care of our bodies. And I had the opportunity to speak to a bunch of different women in this community, women of all different health backgrounds. And I ask every single one, tell me about your journey. And almost every single woman that currently says that she's living with bad health, says she's unhealthy, every single one who identified as struggling with their health also told me, oh, I know exactly what to do. If I wanted to make change, I could. I know exactly what to do. And I would challenge you right now, if that's you, If you're saying to yourself, if you're like, man, I know exactly what to do. I mean, right now you're watching this. We're in the first week of a new year and you're probably feeling great because you probably made some commitments on New Year's and you're like, let's go. I'm going to get it in check. But if you're telling yourself that you know exactly what to do, but it's the same stuff you've always known, and you tell yourself that every year during this week, and 3 weeks from now you're going to be off track, then I would argue with you that you actually don't know all the things to do. Getting to great health or making the steps to get there starts here. It's not about the food you're eating. It's not about knowing the exercise plan. It's about making the decision that your health matters and that you are worth fighting to get to that place. Third thing, community, which is based on that old saying. I'm sure you guys have heard it. You are the combination of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Think about that for a second. Who are the 5 people that you spend the most time with? A lot of us have friends that we've had forever. That's amazing. But if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. If you're the most motivated person in the room, you're in the wrong room. If you are the one in your group of friends that's always trying to encourage everybody else to be better, to do better, to grow, who's going to help you grow? Who's going to pull you up to the next level? I was at a conference years ago and I heard someone say, proximity is power. Proximity is power, meaning when you are around people who are better than you are at other things, like the things that you want to be better at, when you're around people who are better parents than you are, when you're around couples who have a better relationship than you do, when you're around people who are better in business or better at physical health or better at direct sales or better, whatever it is, when you're around people who are better than you a lot, you get better. There's power in that proximity because you're learning faster. You're learning in real time. You become that person. You start to improve without even knowing it, without even consciously making that choice. Proximity is power, and you become who you surround yourself with. If you are struggling with your health, and this is something that you've come back to time and time again, what I want to ask you, friend, with all love in my heart, are you hanging out with a group of people who also struggle with their health? If you're struggling with negativity, look at your environment. Who in your close circle of friends really struggles with being negative? If you're struggling with other people's opinions of you, who are you hanging out with that's all they talk about? They're constantly talking about what other people think, They're feeding your anxiety unintentionally. And when people hear this, they're like, well, so I'm just supposed to kick my friends to the curb? Maybe. No, it's incredible to have those friends who support and love on you if they're healthy choices for you. I'm just saying, make sure you're also seeking out community with people who are excelling. I became better at business when I started hanging out with people who were better in business. And so often, because I remember, like, I used to go to conferences years ago as this young baby entrepreneur, and people would be like, find a mentor. I'm like, where do you find a mentor? Like, they're not growing on trees. I don't know how to find a mentor. I have been mentored by some of the greatest minds in business and podcasting and teaching and coaching, and they don't know I exist. I read books, I listened to podcasts, I watched YouTube videos, I Googled everything. People talk all the time about being self-made. I'm not self-made. So many people helped me get here, but I am self-taught. I taught myself every single thing that I know about how to be a woman, about how to run a marathon, about how to run a business, about how to grow your revenue. I just did research. This drives me absolutely insane when people are like, oh, I want this, I want that, I want to grow my revenue, I want to get into this, I want to improve my health, but I don't know how. Dude, every single thing you want to know how to do exists on the internet right now for free. And in an age of this much free information, your ignorance is a choice. If you want to know how to do something and you don't know how to do it yet, that's a choice that you're making. Because I promise you, there are books at your local library for free. You have access to the internet. If you could afford to come to this movie right now, that means that you have some money to get yourself to the library to do some research. If you don't have inspiring, audacious, incredible people in your community, find them online. Find them on YouTube. Find them in the pages of books. We have this wealth of history, and too many people who are sitting around going like, yeah, I'd like some cooler friends, or I'd like a mentor, but I don't have access. Bull crap. It's not that you don't have access. You don't have the motivation to go find it. Stop making excuses. You want to be better, you got to do better. And that starts right now today with you making the decision that you are not going to let your lack of access lead to your lack of getting where you want to be. Number 4, morning routine. That seems maybe a little odd because the other things on this list tend to be big, sweeping, general, high-level things. We're all about setting ourselves up for success. And so oftentimes we think, how can I set myself up over the course of my whole life? That's incredible. But at the same time, today is what matters. Right now is what matters. And if you are not starting your day strong, I don't think that you are productive in your day. If you're not productive in your day, then you get to the end of the day, then you're feeling discouraged. And it becomes this sort of cycle of, oh, I wish I had done more. And then I'm staying up late and now I can't get up early and all of these things are happening. So one of the things that has made the biggest difference in my life was when I changed my morning routine. When I was very, very intentional with how I started my day. And in fact, I've had the opportunity since Girl Wash Your Face has become so crazy, I've had the opportunity to become friends with a lot of people, like the leaders in the personal development space, like the most high performing people that you see on your social media feeds. And what I can tell you unequivocally, I hope that's a real word that I just used. But what I can tell you for sure is that all of them have a morning routine. They have a morning routine and it's sacrosanct. They are bananas crazy about starting every single day the same way. So what I would say to you is your morning routine setting up your day for success? You know, if you follow me on Instagram, you can see, most people will see how I set up my morning because I'll put it on, but I still get so many questions from the community. What's in your green smoothie? What time do you wake up? When do you go to the gym? You know, when do you pray? When, like all of these things. It's such a popular topic and I've gotten so many questions about it that I made that the video course that you get for free when you pre-order Girl Stop Apologizing, which y'all are my group, right? So I assume you've already pre-ordered it, comes out in March. Just make sure if you have and you want to take a deeper dive into how I keep my energy up, when I go to sleep, what am I eating throughout the day, that you have gone to girlstopapologizing.com, put your email, you'll automatically get the video course from us. It's just my gift to you for doing a pre-order because we super appreciate your pre-orders. So make sure you have a morning routine, and if you don't, feel free to go watch our video and get some ideas for how you can build your own. Number 5 is one of the most important habits. It's such a hot topic. There's so many incredible books about it because most of the decisions you're making in a given day are not conscious decisions. They're things that you've done so many times that you don't think about it anymore. That's incredible when they're good things. It's awesome when your habit is going to the gym. It's awesome when your habit is brushing your teeth or washing your face. That was the worst thing I've ever done, but I felt like I needed to blink because that's the name of the book. Those are the good habits that we love. Where we get thrown off is when we have bad habits. When we're emotionally eating, when we're not getting enough sleep, when we're drinking too much, when we're getting angry, those are bad choices that aren't actually choices. We just sort of go through the motions. We're like a snowball rolling down a hill. We kind of can't help ourselves. If you want to set yourself up for success, you need to take a really good look at what are the habits in my life that I'm crushing it at. What are the habits that I do every day that are really good for me? And then what are the habits that I'm doing every day that are hurting me? What are the things that I need to take a deeper look at to make sure that I'm not sabotaging myself before I've made any real progress? I love the book, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. And in that book, he talks about a habit is 3 things. 1, A habit is a cue, a trigger. Something happens in your life that triggers you to take an action. That action gives you a reward every single time. Cue, action, reward. So for me, it could be I'm going to get in my car in the morning to drive to work. That's a cue. The action that I always take when I drive to work is pulling into my favorite local Starbucks. The reward is I get my Americano, I feel happy, I've got my holiday cup, life is good, I carry on my way. You cannot change the trigger. You can't change the cue. And that's where people get thrown off in habits. They go, man, I have a bad habit. Every time I get stressed, I have too much to drink. The reward is I feel good for a little while. Then I feel crappy. That usually triggers here it is, Jeffrey, yeah, we let him in. Jeffrey's one of my negative triggers. You can't change the trigger. You can't change the cue. You can't change the stress in your life. You can't change that things are going to pop up. What you can change is that middle section. You can change the activity. So it could be, I get stressed, and instead of drinking, I'm going to go on a run. I get stressed, and instead of drinking, I'm going to blast Beyonce and dance it out. I get stressed, and instead of drinking, I'm going to make out with my husband. The reward is really great in that instance. This is PG. That's probably inappropriate. Anyway, the idea is that you can't change what life's going to throw at you, but you can change how you react to it. And if you do that enough times, it becomes your habit. It becomes the place that you're sort of settling back into. If you want to have success, if you want to set yourself up for the future best version of you, you need to take a look at your habits. You need to take a look at your community. You need to ask yourself how you're starting your day. You need to ask yourself how you're setting up your physical environment and how you're taking care of your body. Because, dude, you're worth wanting something more. You are worth the time. You're worth the effort. I know so many of you are giving all of your energy and all of your love into other people. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful to show up for others in that way. But you are not going to have anything left for yourself. Those of you who come up to me at book signings, or you tell me like you're fried, you tell me you're on edge, you tell me that you've lost yourself. You lost yourself, but you also gave yourself away. You didn't take any time or intention in setting yourself up for success before you tried to achieve it for everybody else. So start there. It is a new year. It's a new year, and that means you can be whoever and whatever you want to be. You have got to set yourself up intentionally, and that means this week, I'm going to challenge you this week to set aside some time and dig into these 5 things. Where are you killing it? Where could you use some room for improvement? And what are the steps that you're going to take to get there? Thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you for sticking around and thinking that my lesson was worth it. And make sure you take your trash with you, because the people who leave their popcorn boxes in a movie theater are rude. Bye, guys. Here we